Hi, hang on tight for a brief video about solving a common problem using artificial intelligence. We're going to talk about digitizing paper assets for the pipeline industry using a branch of AI called natural language processing, or NLP for short. NLP allows computers to understand and interpret human language. And within NLP, there are two subsets of problem solving techniques we're going to use. One is document classification, and the other is named entity recognition. And what this means is we've basically taught an AI model to understand pipeline operations in language. We've chosen this approach over a more common rules based approach because in the pipeline industry, it's common to have the same document spanning multiple decades of use with many different formats used by many different vendors. With a rules based approach, this complexity can get overwhelming and you can end up with literally hundreds of rules for each document. And these rules tend to break down, it's pretty rigid. And each time a new rule is discovered, you have to stop processing and re-implement a new rule and start again. And because of that, we've found that natural language processing is really a superior approach to this problem. Before we dig into the details, I will say that this is a problem we're solving, but it is difficult and it is time consuming. So it often gets pushed down the list of priorities. We have developed a way to remove some of the pain and expedite the process so that this problem can finally make it off the back burner of projects. Let's take a quick dive into what our solution does. If you'd like to take a deeper dive, there will be a link to a more detailed video in the description. To start, we have team members that unbox, remove staples, insert separator pages, things like that, and feed these documents into high-speed scanners, with our goal being to get some type of digital asset with OCR information in it. This team has seen thousands of pipeline documents, so they're very well versed in handling the process. But perhaps more importantly, they're very well versed in handling the exceptions to the process. The reality is, though, the scanning process at this point is really just a commodity offering. There are lots of companies that will do this for you. Where our process excels is really what comes next. We have created a set of artificial intelligence models that understand pipeline operations and language. We call them bots. We call them bots because they're literally little machines that are doing work on your behalf. In reality, they're just these artificial intelligence models that we've surrounded with code to put them to work. Anyway, at this point in the process, our bots pick up these scanned files, we categorize them, we pull out information that our customers care about. And once the bots have done their job, we save the metadata output with the digital file to whatever repository makes sense for the customer. Our solution primarily runs as a background process, typically on hundreds of files at a time. For this quick demonstration, I ran one file through to show you what it found. Let's dig in a little bit here. So first, it's found that this is a X-ray daily summary for non-destructive testing of pipeline welds. It's 80% confident that that's what it found, which is correct. That 80% number can be a number between 0 and 100, and it becomes important when we talk about implementing custom processes to handle each document type. For example, a specific document type might be more important than the rest. So the customer might want to say, for example, anything less than 70% confidence, I would like to have a human also look at this document to make sure the model and the machine was correct. I'll script through some of these entities rather quickly. You'll see I've redacted some of the information that the tool found for privacy concerns. So the first thing it found extracted the customer work order. And if you notice, this is a vendor document, and it's actually called the client job number, which is the internal work order for the customers. So the model was smart enough to figure out that a client job number is also a work order. And it's back to these rules that I mentioned earlier. That's why it's very important to use this natural language processing approach because it handles these kind of scenarios much better instead of me writing a rule that says when you see this string of text, I want the other text after it because that string of text can change quite often. What else did we find here? It extracted the project description, which is install pig receiver door on, and there's an asset name there that I redacted. For those of you not in the Python industry, a pig receiver or pig is a real thing. It isn't, the model isn't crazy. I found the project start year, and you can see the build over here on the left. Let's see, what else did we find? We extracted the operating company. This is important in the pipeline because assets can change hands often, and understanding the operating company that it came from can help you basically enrich your information with other information. What else did we find? We extracted the location, in this case, the county and state, and then we extracted the asset ID. And finally, an AFE number. Now, there are other things that this model could have found, like a pipeline segment, our pipeline section. They just weren't present in this document. But as you can see, it did a good job of finding some of the entities we care about. And it also did a good job of delineating between type and handwritten text and pulled that together. Now, the tool also extracts other information that were not present in this document. For example, pipeline segment or pipeline section. They just simply weren't in this document, so they didn't show up. Another quick note is it does, if there are multiple instances of one of these entities we just walked through, it'll return all of them, but it will stack rank them based on which one it thinks you care about the most. As we wrap up, I will reiterate that we've discovered using AI is really a superior approach to the traditional rules-based approach for solving this kind of problem. It can yield productivity benefits as well as quality benefits when undergoing the process of digitizing your paper assets. If you would like more information, watch the detailed video in the description or reach out to us via contact@serverlesssolutions.com or visit our website at www.serverless-solutions.com. Don't forget the dash. Thank you.